not going to let Jensen have it again, not going to let them have that combo of Yordles. But that leaves open the big LeBlanc.
And while we haven't seen a ton of it out of Jensen this split, it is one of his most signature champions. He has played tons of LeBlanc over his career, made a ton of huge plays at international competition. Third time this split.
But that also means that the Kai'Sa left over on the other side, and since Rel is banned out, they also get the Rakan for the huge pile of support engaged here. And Kai'Sa is first emerged in mid lane as a LeBlanc counter when Static Shiv first completely changed the meta here. Plus Insanity, I feel like, was one of the better Kai'Sa mid players. So TSM, while they do give up the sought after LeBlanc for the mid lane, for the bit of a power pick there, I really do like what they got in trade.
Lucian, Tristana, Kai'Sa, Insanity has been willing to play many high damage output picks from the mid lane for TSM, which has paired very well with WildTurtle, who has had such consistency in his DPS from game to game in their victories. But moving along within the phase, we're here in the second phase of bans.
And Dignitas, remember, you can flex the LeBlanc. It doesn't have to go mid to Jensen, so it doesn't have to be into the Kai'Sa counterpick mid lane. It could go to top lane, and Jensen could pilot the Jayce as well. Rich and Jensen both could switch those two solo lane champs, no problem. We saw the
Summit
top lane LeBlanc, and it left something to be desired, but
Great.
it's not to say you can do it again.
Great in lane phase, did not like it in team fights. Also, just knowing these two players, how good Jensen is at LeBlanc. He's not much of a Jayce player. Give them what they're strong at.
His Jayce looked good, okay?
His Jayce
was good too.
It's looked better in recent weeks.
Everybody always brings up, oh my God, he never plays, AD champions over and over and over again.
Okay, so funnily enough,
his Jayce was still good.
He has a 71.4% win rate on both Jayce and LeBlanc. The only difference is he's played 56 games of LeBlanc and 7 of Jayce. So, yeah, I'd like him to pilot the LeBlanc, please.
Yeah, but 2-1 on the Jayce in the regular season, had a 16 KDA. A two win game sample size, that definitely compares to lifetime, right?
Yeah. Just keep how it is. I do like the Jayce, though, still as a takeaway from the Kai'Sa comps, because people have been using the Ezreal as a substitution for Kai'Sa, but a lot of the times people slam it in the bot lane, combine with the Jayce mid, and you go this AP, AD, poke composition that's very annoying. So it's nice to split that up.
And TSM going to keep the reveal until the final pick, it looks like here. So Turtle, of course, could play the Kai'Sa depending on the matchup here. And Dig final lock-in is the Xayah bottom with Nautilus. Xayah, of course, we always see into the Kai'Sa here. But there we go. It is probably going to be, oh no, they make the last switch.
Yeah, I was going to say, I like how both teams are kind of picking apart the other one's pairings. You have the Rakan go through, you can assume the Xayah might be coming later, so they take that one away. And then, we split up the poke composition, and you saw them still hover the Ezreal, thinking about combining the Ezreal and Kai'Sa poke, but go to the Ahri for a little bit more push, a little bit more playmaking around the mid lane to combine with that Sejuani for Bugi, taking that one away from Santorin, who had a great game on it.
Insanity definitely played against a lot of Ahri in their recent series versus Evil Geniuses, but now on the pick. Kobe, what do you think now that everything's locked in?
They have until 20 seconds to trade champions. So if I am right about the Rich LeBlanc, then you owe me
I'll leave.
Coffee.
You can cast it alone. that's your reward.
Everybody always looks into the
Okay,
like,
I'm wrong. Goodbye, Kobe. It was nice casting with you for Champ Select.
Jensen never played these. He looked good on the few games of Jensen.
On blue side.
All right. Must-win game for TSM. And this is an elimination playoff match as well. So really, really big stakes here. The pressure mounting throughout the entire day, leading up to this moment here. Which team are going to keep their hopes alive? Dignitas, of course. They have the added storyline of Jensen making all these consecutive worlds in a row since 2014. Kept a massive streak alive, tied with Doublelift at most worlds appearances, and the team doing their best to try and help him keep that alive. This match around looks like it is going to be the static Shiv LeBlanc top again, similar to the Summit style, as Rich has started with the longsword refillable potion and went for the deep ward towards the red buff. When you want to play the LeBlanc top, want to play harass early on, tracking jungle is critical, and that ward is already going to give them the indication that Bugi's starting topside on red buff, and see if Rish wants to spend a little bit of time harassing.
Spend time harassing, or if you start W, you get very lucky. You can sometimes pop over the wall and try and explode the red buff and take it for lane. It's risky. It's risky, but if they don't have their smites time because they're being lazy.
Yeah, you pretty much are all, yeah, I guess if you smite it early, and that the percentage chances of that happening and messing that up are so incredibly low, but he doesn't want to expend any resources, reveal himself or mana or anything like that. Just goes back to the lane. He's content to know that Sejuani is starting on the top side, and he will be able to have jungle difference here since Maokai is starting on the bottom side.
Definitely have to keep tracking how Rich does on this pick up top. Like you said, Kobe, it is an elimination game if Dignitas do manage to win it. I do find, as an empath, I always have a hard time in this elimination territory because it's just sad to see somebody go. And I think these teams, when you're looking at what they have to fight for, whether it's Jensen wanting to go to Worlds for a 9th consecutive time, Santorin, who seems like he stays up all night about the fact that he's been getting second place after second place after second place and wanting to grab that trophy for the first time since 2015. Much that they'll be fighting for.
Yeah, on the flip side for TSM, so much to stay alive for. Obviously, you want to play later on in the series to try and get that Worlds, but just for individually, these guys as a group that came together was doubted the whole time. You want to see them continue powering on, not lose the 2 best of 5s, get knocked out immediately. For guys like Insanity, who are trying to make a name for themselves, they had a great regular season, but you want to see that continue into the postseason.
Yeah, the guys that want to go for the first time, like Insanity, and then the veterans, Hauntzer and WildTurtle, back in TSM jerseys, wanting to make a big last reveal here through playoffs. So Santorin is going to be able to finish up this ward with the Scryer's Bloom, completes the standard full clear up to top side, basically same time as Bugi's able to complete his standard full clear down to bottom side, and the easy trade of scuttles.
Thing to look forward though is Hauntzer, pretty low HP, is underneath his turret. We'll see if they want to try to stack a wave and look for anything.
Poome does land into Q, and Tomo following up with some good damage. WildTurtle burned down, ignites traded for both.
They've got to know for Dignitas that the jungles were opposite sides since they had all that work done by Rich. They should know Sejuani could be floating around down here, so Chime cancels his recall, comes back to lane here with WildTurtle, and Bugi's gonna
finds the opening. Chime gets rooted on the entry, but Tomo and Poome, they do make it back towards their turrets.
That was really risky, actually, for TSM there. We saw Santorin went for a recall. Instead of threatening the dive top, which is kind of the mirror play to that, he actually reset to go bottom.
Another hook by Poome, and Chime doesn't have much to escape with. Still had the flash if necessary, but can get back to Turtle with a battle dance.
Yeah, TSM not going to get baited into hovering around too long there, but off the reset, Santorin's full HP. You can see the side of TSM no longer feeling safe as this wave crashes. So still coming out pretty good for Dignitas there, though Jensen is in some trouble mid lane.
And feeling the pressure of Insanity and the range that he has to offer. Just a little bit up in CS across mid. Santorin pretty pushed past that tower.
That's a good stop from him. Pretty annoying to stop those recalls, and it actually causes a commit from Chime and WildTurtle. They're like, okay, fine, we're not even gonna go by at all. We have to get back. We can't lose another wave down here. Bugi's coming. They want to catch him.
Roots on to Bugi, continues to charge forward, but Santorin finds a path out.
Phase Rush Maokai, being annoying, uses Bugi's body as an escape there and keeps Chime and Turtle without their recall. Neither team was able to get one off, but with the Biscuits call start for Tomo, you have to feel a little bit better about a long extended lane phase where no one's getting anything done. You are pretty happy to sit around though. Now it's Bugi's turn to gank again.
Well, Chime double knockup. Battle dances back towards Turtle, who gets hooked. Bugi's coming from try and should be able to collapse while Turtle flashing away. Santorin is on the way. Same pathing that Bugi just took. But Tomo continuing slapped upon by Bugi. Ooh. First blood drawn by WildTurtle. Poome getting the kill for Chime to go down. But it's still action in the bot side. Just junglers lurking around. Good plays and good scrap.
2-for-1 in favor of TSM there, and Tomo had so many feathers out, but no mana to pull them all back through. If he had that, they could have killed them much faster and probably won that fight, but TSM, knowing from that extended period of fighting down there, Tomo didn't have enough mana to actually commit there and able to find those 2 kills. Nice advantage for them.
So much value out of the Sejuani, out of that passive too, being able to get the stuns onto both of them, forcing the Nautilus to be able to flash forward to finish off even the 1 trade kill for them. And TSM obviously getting the 2-for-1 advantage. So Chime goes in, starts it out really nice from him. They knew that Tomo had no flash the whole time, but we saw the whole thing, so I like the call.
Yeah, replays like
I like that.
This.
Yeah, you already saw that first time. You don't get another one. Poome's mid, and looks like they were trying to retake vision, but they're unable to clear this control ward here to make it easier for Jensen to play, as we did also have Chime moving through. So mirrored wards for mid lane, both on the bottom side.
And the 1 kill that Dignitas holds is on Poome, whereas the 2 kills for TSM, it's Bugi holding 1 and Turtle with the other. An assist at that. Another Q from Poome, WildTurtle trying to answer with some damage. Chime eating up another ignite here as Santorin makes his way from bot lane. Oh, Bugi ready to assist Hauntzer in the play. But Rich trying to juke him out a little bit.
Yeah, the snapback from Rich there makes it a little annoying to try and chase him. W comes back up. Ooh, Boogie's not done chasing him, though.
Looks for the lock, root for stun, dash back for Rich. So he does manage to get out of that, keeps his flash at that.
Yeah, it's such a waste of time to go try and gank LeBlanc like this. With flash available to topside, there is actually no world in which Rich dies there. And with the honey fruit, didn't even hurt him at all.
He goes.
As said, the wave was also pushing towards him, so fine stuff there. Hauntzer is able to push it out, but this top LeBlanc is doing what you need to do in the early game, getting the CS lead. Been harassing Hauntzer, been forcing him to miss some CS at the tower.
Yeah, these isolated lane phases going 1 in favor of Dignitas in the top side, but for Insanity, a small CS lead eked out in the mid lane, also getting close to grabbing his first turret plate. So all this attention in the bot lane has kind of left the soul laners free to push as much as they want.
And we're about to get some action, I feel like. Everybody's coming to this Rift Herald fight. Both AD carries on the way. TSM may be the one starting it, but Dignitas definitely can fight it here. Look at this. Maokai ultimate for Santorin is ready.
Waiting in the jungle with the ultimate and more. Rift Herald has been marked down to half. Hauntzer is attempting to make his rotation, but caught by the ethereal change over the wall. The ultimate goes, and Poome has already fallen, so TSM now standing with the numbers advantage against Dignitas on this Rift Herald means that Dig will not continue to contest.
Such a huge turn for TSM here, right over to the Nautilus. There's a reason this champion is known for having some of the highest deaths of any champion in League of Legends. Dignitas were split. They had Santorin still on the blue buff, and the other side of the engage, the Nautilus, is coming up through this little corridor into the river. So TSM, they say, great, immediate turn there. Bugi, Sejuani, never fails to engage. To go with the Chime here on the Rakan, they immediately kill Poome, and then guess what? You're left there as Dignitas saying, great, we just used our Maokai ultimate. Our support is 100% to zeroed. So I guess you get the Rift Heralds. Congrats.
Yeah, big mistake by Dignitas there. The kill also going on to Insanity's Ari to start moving around the map, try and make plays happen, as well as having this Herald presumably to use in mid lane to continue accelerating him. This is a big blunder out of Dignitas to not have their tanks grouped up and trying to fight front to back.
And with that kill, Insanity was able to finish the Everfrost. Of course, an efficient item that you get much earlier than others, but still good way to utilize the gold from that kill. Still just a few hundred overall gold lead for TSM. This dragon has been up for some time. Nobody making some early plays towards it, especially with that attention that was previously paid towards the Rift Herald that Bugi now holds, ready to affect somewhere on the map.
Yeah, you have to re-emphasize how careful you have to be sometimes when you're going for multi-pronged attacks on a team like that. You're definitely going to get focused down, and good job by TSM for calling for the focus there on the Nautilus and picking it up. I don't know if you guys are seeing what I'm seeing with the perma charm visual on the Nautilus, but I guess we'll just let it ride. It's chill. We've had enough things happen today.
I'm going to assume that's a spectator bug, or Poome probably would have paused it.
he's just permanently in love with Insanity here.
He's like, you know what? These particles are pretty sick. Just leave them on
It's
me.
actually chill, yeah.
Yeah.
As far as the bugs go, that one's fine.
Solo is saying how it's just all about keeping it as chill as possible in the games. What's more chill than just having little hearts flutter around you?
They definitely need to keep it chill because this is a game that could very easily snowball out of control.
Oh, Rich sees a lot of red health bars, manages to sidestep the ult from Bugi, who's under the turret, returns towards his fellow teammates. Rich, flash expelled, but still up here top. Rift Herald dropped down. These will be plates given over to TSM. Chime looking for the angle, enters with the quickness, manages to flash to get the lock. And TSM make a play up top. Bugi kill credit onto Rich. And punishing for sure.
Definitely punish him. He went greedy there, W'd forward to get one more proc of Static Shiv on the wave, and in doing so, gave Chime the angle to ult on top of him. They get that kill to punish him. Fortunately for Dignitas, reinforcements are already on the way. The bot laner Dig shows up to stop this entire turret from dropping, but another good play by TSM, up to 1,000 gold lead now. And where I was going was this comp out of Dignitas is probably not going to play that well from behind. Jayce is the champion that can struggle.
Ooh. Poome depth charge lands onto Turtle. Follow up with more from Santorin. Tomo getting the kill, and teleports will keep it going. Bugi flashes over the wall, but look how fast Rich is. Finally getting some action for the top laner that doesn't result in his own gray screen, and Dignitas managed to push one back.
Oh, that was nasty there. Poome's able to get in, ultimate down onto Turtle, and then just barely gets the hook right around the minions to pull to set up for the feather pull as well. Blade Caller for Tomo immediately goes down. They delete him. They followed up with the kill onto Bugi. Then they're left with a pushing topside here with 3 members, allowing Santorin to steal away red buff and push in and get turret plates on that top tower. Massive, massive counterplay here from Dignitas after TSM just took down Summit. Never giving up on their attempts to kill that LeBlanc. They finally got him, but the counterplay from Dig was even bigger.
Just as I was beginning to say too, like, ooh, this is a little scary for Dignitas, instantly answer back, grab the gold lead for themselves. I was gonna say, LeBlanc, AD carry, poke top thing is obviously not the best team fighter, but you know, with this getting more gold in his pocket, able to get 20 CS lead and go back pushing bot lane now and grab more turret plays for himself, Bruce can continue to stay ahead of the pace of the game.
And he did initially avoid 3 members going for his head up there with multiple ultimates used. It's just that after he successfully avoided it and was filled with confidence, then
got a little greedy.
Went back for a little bit more, and Chime shows why you never give up on a play, Mark. kept on going for it, and they finally got their top laner kill. So success there at the very least. And now we get the push back because it's kind of a seesaw in League when you're going for these reset timers. Once Dignitas are then going for their reset by timer on top side, TSM push back out because WildTurtle and Chime are right up here. Can he finish this turret before the collapse? It looks like he would be able to finish the turret, but mid lane might get a little spicy.
For a moment, Insanity's been landing a lot of good charms, but on that one was mostly to protect himself after taking a decent chunk of damage. But again, that gold lead that was at one point starting to balloon for TSM, not so much anymore. And then of course Dignitas did get that dragon a while ago, so finding multiple ways to keep themselves in it.
Yeah, so heading into a mid-game, even gold lead, what does each team comp do well? Dignitas obviously 1-3-1 extremely well with LeBlanc in the side lane. They can keep pushing and getting these kinds of turrets in their favor, but they do need to land poke. LeBlanc functions a lot like a poke champ in a lot of grouped up team situations, so they'll need jayce Shock Blast or Rich over the wall. For TSM, they have insane pick potential. Whether it's Rakan, Ahri, Sejuani, so many people can start the fight and just instantly blow up one member of Dignitas if they're not grouped up well.
Now, second Rift Herald spawning. Tomo and Santorin working in tandem. You can see Poome rotating through the river. Oh, Insanity though. That's some danger that you're finding for yourself. Rich tried to grab with the ethereal chains, but now Bugi's in his face. WildTurtle picks up the kill onto Rich. Dignitas do finish off the Rift Herald, so they'll have that to drop down, but it was a trade of a kill for the objective.
Yeah, TSM, they jump on the clone first, but they're still able to follow it up and kill the real LeBlanc as well in the aftermath. Good ult from Insanity, gets away from it, hits the Everfrost as he's leaving, so the rest of the team can take care of that kill. Meanwhile, Rift Herald plus the push on top side here. So this means that Dignitas can have Tomo get solo tower gold as well as get his recall off before the Dragon arrives. If you need 30 seconds to get from base back towards Dragon, that's about the timer left on this next one coming up for Dig. So kind of perfect here that they got all of that isolated gold onto Tomo, onto the Xayah, then they get their full buy off before heading right back out over to the Dragon. Now, Insanity does have teleport, so TSM have the options here with having this Ahri push out top side and then try and teleport down, but looks like they've made the call. They don't want to use his teleport, and they just want to walk him over.
They do have one deep ward back on the Krugs as well, so if they want to teleport in Hauntzer or Insanity for a flank, they have that option. You can see Dignitas doing their best to clear out these wards, make sure no flanks are available.
Oh, Hauntser's going in for it. Just wants to make sure that Poome doesn't find a good angle to get towards the back line, and there's Poome over the wall, grabbed and charmed up. Santorin following up with a Nature's Grab. Chime goes into stasis, but Tomo's already been burned by an Ignite. Wants to finish off this kill onto Chime. Chime does fall. It's Rich that's able to do the deed, and TSM have lost one in trade for one. It's both supports gone in multiple flashes as Santorin gets out of the way. Dragon still standing, but nobody rotating over towards it just yet.
And now with Rakan down, the only person who can really punish the poke champions is the Ahri. And Insanity does have flash, so unless he's able to make some sort of charm flash play, Dignitas should have control of the map.
He gets rooted up. It lines up for a shock blast from Jensen, who now Dignitas, they're able to make their way towards the Dragon.
Yeah, if you're the team with the extra poke and the extra range left after the fight, even though they didn't get the extra counter, they're still able to push them back, get the objective. So that's Dragon number 2 here for Dig. Take another look as Nautilus, again, this champion, notorious for how many deaths because it's frontline so much, and it's a good move there from Hauntzer on the Ksante, gets him in, they get their first kill. And then Rich flashes in with the mobility of LeBlanc. He gets the kill, and try and get that Sejuani ultimate onto a dashing LeBlanc is very difficult to do. That Sejuani ult kind of goes flying through the uprights there.
You might want to save it for a less mobile champion, but you did see how touch and go these fights are. Obviously, like you're saying, Poome gets exploded very easy, but that's a lot of cooldowns to use on just the support. They then re-engage. LeBlanc can pop forward for the follow-up damage. And then Santorin at the tail end of that play, you saw get charmed and exploded. Even though he is tank with the focus, having Green Smite and Radiant Virtue, you can still get absolutely annihilated if you are not careful. And so he ended up getting very low in that fight as well. Like you said, though, the poke was able to keep Dig in control, grab that dragon. Looking pretty good with 2 dragons in their back pocket and a gold lead in their side.
That bot turret was weak enough, though, where just by showing the 2v1 means that Rich has to back off, gives that over towards TSM. So bringing that gold lead to just that 1,000, but as you can see on your screen, the Rift Herald ready to do some work on that mid turret for Dignitas.
All right, we get the reset timers for everybody, going back to recall. See what our purchases and our 2-item power spikes end up being. Looks like most of them coming through.
Lots of purchases on this back end. I do, as we saw the second item picked up for WildTurtle, bringing it a bit back to the stakes of this. And for TSM, I know we talked about WildTurtle and Hauntzer coming back onto the squad. It was 6 years ago that they played together last time. A lot of doubt on this team. And to bring an emphasis on WildTurtle just a bit, he's been around for quite some time since the early stages, and see if he can provide threat. Not in this time, though, as Jensen takes a lot off of the charm. But Santorin and the rest of Dignitas are answered by Hauntzer, who's looking to isolate one, but Chime getting the charm. And WildTurtle, he's focused onto Tomo. Tomo being such a great expulsion of damage for Dignitas, who have already lost 2. So TSM, they create the space, and Baron is up.
This is why people hype up the importance of Insanity to TSM so much. Him and Bugi make the play out of nowhere for TSM. They make the pick onto Jensen. And that's going to be a Baron off of that pick. Really, really good punishment there. Jensen on the Jayce, trying to split push out on the top side, and he walks a little bit too far into river. Bugi right over the back of that wall, throws the Sejuani ult, forces the flash from him, and they finish off the kill before Dig have time to react. They're not even done. Baron in tow now for TSM.
TSM coming out on top in the play, making sure to grab Jensen to set up that Red Bull Baron buff. Now 1,000 gold lead for them that has been swinging slightly back and forth.
This is a huge pickup for TSM, keeping their hopes alive potentially in this series. The pickoff onto Jensen in the side lane, talking about how important it is to have nice 1-3-1 setups, but if they are able to cut that play, they get that kill, and because it's on the top side of the map, instantly fall back to Baron. And here it is, like you said, just Jensen trying to get priority there. Bugi over the wall, max range, forces the flash, but now with that down, very easy for Insanity to land the follow-up CC. The charm into Everfrost combo deletes him, and now TSM have Dignitas in scramble mode. They're picking on Poome, they're jumping on top of Santorin at the same time, and kind of break down that battle line that Dignitas' comp wants to fight through front to back every single time.
Yeah, you said it moments earlier, Mark, where you're talking about the pick potential for TSM. That's how they're going to get their advantage. That's how they have to be able to set up their own win conditions. And if the jayce is going to walk up towards the river like that, Bugi immediately jumping over the wall, throwing Sej ult, no hesitation. Insanity goes right in, follows up on it. That is exactly what TSM have to do if they want to keep their playoffs hopes alive. Their summer hopes alive, but Hauntzer's already dead.
Oh, Hauntzer's gone. Dignitas, they want more. Turtle killer instinct out of it, flashes. And that just leaves Bugi at the center of too many members of Dignitas. And just like that, TSM losing multiple with this Baron buff. And Dig pressuring them on the map. Insanity making sure to get that push bot, but can only do so much. Rich picking it up onto Chime, and Jensen onto WildTurtle.
Turtle tried to lead them on a wild goose chase, not able to do so. They instantly hand back all 5 members, I believe it is, of the Baron buff. Oh, okay, but never mind. Insanity stayed alive. They still have 1 Baron buff, but that advantage instantly evaporated from an over-aggression at the mid lane turret, and Dragon is up, so this will put them on sole point for Dignitas.
Yeah, you see Boogie's head in his hand there, because we didn't even get to finish celebrating their good play. We're still telling the story of the cool good play TSM just made to pick and get a Baron, and they instantly throw it away under tower. It's 3 members of Dignitas that start out. Santorin is just like, what are you doing up in my tower? Immediately goes on to Hauntzer, and they delete the Ksante under tower. The rest of Dig come through. They push him off, and since Ahri's got no teleport, split pushing down bottom, guess what? They run down the rest of the squad here. Flash from Santorin too. He doesn't want to even let Chime get away. Goes under tower to finish it. Huge stuff here. Dignitas say, cool story, bro. Nice Baron. And they just run it straight to your base anyway.
You can see the TSM coaching staff feeling frustrated. Dignitas knowing they just got a second chance in this game. Big overstep when you have Ahri, who is 3-0-2, split bot side, doing a 4-1 setup basically. You cannot dive underneath the turret like that, and just way too aggressive by Hauntzer.
Dignitas continuing to try and keep TSM off of this. A couple of routes just to buy some time so they can't finish off the tier 2 turret. Still a lot of time until the next dragon spawns or any of the major objectives means that the focus will be in pushing the lanes.
Definitely.
Wow, what a roller coaster.
Yeah, catch my breath after that. I'm like, wait, who's winning now?
Emotional roller coaster.
The thing. All that you want from an elimination game, though, Tomo, after activating the Feather Storm, manages to make his way behind the tanks of Dignitas. So that's 1 ultimate drawn out, as well as the cleanse from Dignitas's ADC.
I mean, honestly, now for Dignitas, setting the situation where they can now return to their side lane pushes before objectives come up here, and them having the 3 dragons, putting that extra pressure of the soul. Well, never mind. TSM going to force mid again, so looks like we're going to get another 4-1, except for this time, TSM have the earlier push onto tower so they can get it, and they had the teleport from Insanity also ready to go for backup. Plus, there was no Maokai right in front of you to root you and knock you under tower.
3rd time's the charm, Kobe. They got that mid-outer turret now.
Did it!
They did it. Did cost them some side lane push, so right now they have to go catch those. You see Ahri up in the top side grabbing those ones. Hauntzer moving down here. No neutral objectives up to worry about, though, from the lack of side lane pressure, so they should be just fine. And now it's about how they're going to navigate the next 2 minutes. Presumably, neither team will force too hard onto Baron, but maybe TSM do want to do that. We talked about the pick tools that they have. You can force Dig to clump up around there. Maybe you'll have a really nice turn angle. They have all teleports up in the game right now.
But Rich maybe running into a couple members of TSM who are again making their way towards mid. And as you mentioned, Hauntzer does have that teleport, will remain on bot side for now. And in the center of it all, a teleport coming in is WildTurtle, already marked so low, and Rich is looking for the final hit onto him. And with him eliminated, it's just the 1-for-2 trade though, as Dignitas have lost the entirety of their bot lane and will lose more, as Santorin is a separated one this time around. Solo laners surviving it out for Dignitas, and 15 seconds before the Baron spawns.
Bugi is so good for TSM. The best part about that gank, the timing of it. Tomo had a couple seconds left on his Xayah ultimate, and Bugi jumps out of that side brush. Sejuani ult to save the game possibly for TSM. They kill off the Xayah immediately, and now they're going for another game-saving Baron? Question mark? So many back and forth plays here. Number 2 should get picked up here for TSM.
Yeah, last time they got the Baron, we started getting excited, hyping them up as having in a great position this game. This time around, we'll wait to see how they actually use the Baron. But again, like you said, Bugi with the huge play, both times kind of setting his team up to find these Barons. Rich just poking around, but the pick on the Tomo was huge. He did have his flash, but you saw him kind of relying on his fancy feet, waiting for the ult to come back up, and just force him into an awkward enough position that Insanity could land the charm for them 200 to 0 him. And with Tomo down, not enough damage on the Dignitas side to punch through the tankier members of TSM. Grab the Baron on the back end of that one. Hopefully this time, a little bit more coordinated of a Baron push.
Deathcap just grabbed up for Insanity. Yeah, 2.5 minutes to go on this Red Bull Baron buff for TSM. Almost 2,000 gold lead. Considering the back and forth, we haven't really had any major gold lead stretch for either of these teams. And Dragon spawning in 10 seconds time. Dignitas is on soul point. One away from grabbing the soul for themselves unless TSM decide to fight them off of it. And they're the ones back in the driver's seat off of that Baron play.
Looks like Dignitas are going to sack this one against the Baroned up team of TSM. Happy to back away. There's not too many turrets that are easy for TSM to break right now. It's only the mid and top inners still available, so it feels like Dig is on stem the bleeding mode right now. Go out, get some waves shoving their way. You can see the LeBlanc moving up to the top side with Jensen actually shadowing it a little bit. Just trying to stop TSM from being able to get too much more gold. The Ocean Dragon singular this late in the game is not too big of an objective to hand away.
But look at this, the chase, Insanity, he's going to keep it up onto Rich. That's a long lane. The rest of the team are making their way up through the river, but when they see the Jayce teleport down to the bottom side for counter push, they give up on the chase. They're like, all right, we've done this before. LeBlanc, a pretty mobile champion, and they'll just go pick up jungle camps instead. I still would highlight these two players for TSM, though. So massive for them. And Insanity on this Ahri with 10 stacks on his upgraded Medjai's Soul Stealer, plus the 3-item power spike with the Rabadons coming in, has so much burst damage.
This is something people always harp on about Ahri's, is making sure they build enough damage in their comp to beyond the Everfrost chunk. Make sure you have more behind that here. He's not just set up, he's also trying to carry the game with that Deathcap Slam Horizon focus.
Rich doing his best to hold his own on this tier 2 up top. We've been even in the turret score for quite some time. The advantage for Dignitas in mid, but TSM having previously pushed over on that bot side. 30 seconds to go on this Red Bull Baron buff, but TSM with no wave mid to be able to move forward.
Nice bit of defense so far out of Dignitas in this Baron buff power play. About to time out in 15 seconds, and you do get 1,500 gold just for securing the Baron. And so effectively it was a net Baron power play. It was obviously a huge gold swing for TSM that got them the Baron, but from there, all they really lost was this Ocean Dragon, which at the end of the day is something that you'd be very happy to trade if you were going up against a Baron.
Yeah, and they get another 3 minutes, you know, another chance in 3 minutes here with the next Ocean Dragon coming. TSM though, Bugi is on the move again. The playmaker here. Can he get a flash out? Oh, he's got a second left on his flash.
Glacial Prison lands onto Jensen. He's got the damage from Insanity, and Chime here for the assist. Teleport in from Dignitas, and Santorin's wrapping around as well. Rich has to flash out and more. So Dignitas still managing to survive it except for one.
You see Bugi moving on the map, you better run. This man is making plays for TSM just when they need it. Must-win match here, and he finds another pick onto Jensen moments before the flash comes up.
playing so well and looking for another angle at that. Does not have the ultimate this time around, but has many players just circling around Dignitas on this tier 2 wave coming in. See if they can continue to push it on forward. Not so much. Dignitas with good clear, and still some time before those neutral objectives respawn. So again, it's all about creating that pressure on the map. Look at how much warding is in favor of TSM on this bot side.
TSM has done such a good job just picking apart Dignitas in these side lanes, helmed up by Bugi, finding it time and time again, despite the fact that they did have that kind of Baron throw. If you look at the last, I don't know, 5 fights, almost all of them have gone TSM's way. That's including all the pickoffs. It does feel like right now Dignitas has been on the back foot since minute 15, and TSM is in the driver's seat, playing so well with finding these engages. It's just about making sure that they can close it out cleanly and not have another oopsie.
I feel like 100% of DigCom should be, where's Bugi? Where's Bugi right now? Hello, has anyone seen Bugi in the last 3 seconds? Because this man is creating all of the plays for TSM. And we went over the stats at the beginning of the series too. Bugi has the highest kill participation of any player in the LCS at 82 or 3%, I believe. Where he goes, that's where the team will make a play. Currently, split pushing here for Insanity, so he's going to get that secondary turret, but TSM kind of opening mid.
Oh boy.
Teleport here for the sandwich. Chime is always by Bugi's side, and Santorin attempting to respond. Insanity going into the backline, route onto Poome, who won't be lasting much longer. Jensen soon to follow him into the grave. 3 eliminated for Dignitas, and TSM follow up on Santorin's flash. Not quite able to connect with the charm, but they do still have the pursuit available to them as Bugi is wrapping around and flashing on forward to take out the enemy jungler. Blast cone over the wall, and Hauntzer still pushing on this top turret right outside the inhibitor, even duking it out with Rich, who doesn't have anyone to assist him on this push. Only one standing for the next 10 seconds, and even then it's only Poome that will be respawning.
TSM looking like they want to grab this top inhibitor. The rest of the team reinforces Hauntzer to grab that objective after a monstrous flank.
Okay, this is kind of interesting here. With the Dragon Soul available as well as the Baron buff, TSM, they have time, I believe, to rush down this Baron. But look, 3 members from Dignitas alive. Santorin will be up in 7 seconds, and they're making a beeline towards that Ocean Soul. TSM, how quickly can they do it? Can they get back over to that Dragon in time? I think the Dragon's going to be your payment. TSM will take Baron number 3 in trade for Dragon Soul. So that's a large gold lead plus the pushing power of Baron for TSM. But Dignitas will at least get the consolation prize of the extra Ocean Soul.
The beeline that they made for that, even the teleport from Jensen to ensure that the Ocean Soul would belong to Dignitas, traded for that 3rd Baron of TSM. But still, a lot of gold that TSM have been swinging around. And as you mentioned, Mark, looking pretty good in the fights. We'll see how they fare against the extra sustain available for Dig.
I don't think the sustain's going to matter at all. TSM is winning all these fights by 100-0. A key member of TSM, or excuse me, Dignitas, Bugi landing big ultimates, and then it's being followed up by Turtle or Insanity damage. Does not matter if they have the Ocean Soul if they're dead as soon as the first tick of damage comes through.
That's exactly right, and that's what Dig have to be worried about as TSM. You see the way that they continually position Bugi, kind of separating himself for the best possible angle of engage. Does have the ultimate, no flash though. Did use that previously to pick out Santorin in that last fight. But they've got the Baron buff going towards mid and bot side, another wave, and then the supers up top that Dig will eventually have to answer.
Yeah, they've got another minute 40-something seconds here left on the Baron buff, TSM. So patience is the name of the game. You've got the extra supers, pressure on top side, Baron up your cannon minions here. Let them start to slowly chip away. Dignitas focusing on the wave clear though. You've got the extra sustain. As long as you don't get bursted, you should be able to hold out here.
Gotta be very careful about that burst as Insanity is at the 25 stacks on his Mage Eyes. Gonna absolutely pump out damage if anyone gets locked in place.
Lots of TSM was hanging out in the fog of war, and Dignitas, it makes it so difficult for them to be able to move in response.
I like this, using the Maokai ult just to deny another minion wave push here with the Baron. There's still a minute left on it though. This siege is not gonna be over anytime soon.
A lot.
Oh, they got the
Turtle! Where'd you go, bro?
Immediately deleted by Tomo. Turtle's down. The Baron is down. The siege is done!
There's no mid lane turret. You can see Dignitas pinging that down right now. They are trying to charge up mid lane to see how much they can get with that kill. 40 seconds on the death timer. There were some ultimates expended right before this play too. Turtle just stepping too far forward, loses track of the feathers. The flash by Tomo.
Tomo the GOAT flashes to reposition the feathers. Oh my goodness, Tomo, what a magnificent improvement here into the LCS stage in playoffs, and now they want to win off it.
What? Teleport coming in for Dignitas. Hauntzer has to go for the escape, does manage to sidestep the Q from Poome, but that's an inhibitor down for Dignitas. They're not going to overcommit to this.
Gonna back out here. Nice job grabbing the turret. Could not find another kill. If they blew up Hauntzer there, maybe they could keep looking for the end. But with Turtle spawning in 10 seconds, you do not want to get caught in the enemy base. They are going to take this reset, but it is a breath of life given to this team. They're still on the back foot. They're still 5,000 gold down, but this gives them free push in the mid lane for when these synced up neutral objectives start spawning in the next 3 minutes.
And, you know, with the static Shiv LeBlanc, as much as, you know, people don't like a lot of what it will bring towards the mid stages of the game, the extra wave clear has helped them out. The extra Ocean Soul regeneration, they want to make use of it again here though, because TSM are returning to finish the job. Insanity still has the potential to make that big game-winning pick.
And Bugi clearing out of control and continuing to take the jungle angle again with the ult. This time flashes back up. So the mid push of Dignitas responded to by a TSM mid push of their own, but they can't quite take down that turret. And now 30 seconds time until that inhibitor respawns for Dignitas up top, but we still got quite a chunk until TSM re-earn their mid one.
Yeah, TSM though still have complete map control. The most wards that you can see for Dignitas are kind of in that top side around Wolf Camp and Blue Buff. Does make it very scary for someone like Tomo, who does not have his flash for another 2.5 minutes basically. Needs to make sure that they have eyes on Bugi, have eyes on flanks to make sure no one comes and CCs him, insta-gives him up. So this is still a very dangerous situation for Dignitas, but does show that there's a ton of damage on this team. If TSM are ever not clean in their dives, they can get blown up.
And the biggest thing now is something you don't talk about a lot, but it's controlling your cooldowns for your trinkets. Dignitas, you have to be very sparing with your use of your Scryer's trinkets here. You can see Jensen and Tomo holding theirs for the arrival of those objectives so that they can rotate them and have the double check. And you basically, you use one, then you can move up and get your saplings down for your Maokai, you get your value there, then you wait and you can move back up, get your second round of saplings with the second one, so that you have this kind of layered protection in trying to acquire that vision, which is very dangerous here. But Santorin going to try and slowly fill up these brush with the saplings, give them some territory to work with, make sure that there is not an Ahri in every brush, because that Ahri spells death.
Poome lands a hook onto Hauntzer, Nature's Breath thrown, but Santorin gets rooted. And
Arm lands.
now Hauntzer's still eating up a lot of it. Chime's looking for an angle with the charm. Santorin knocked up, but looking who Bugi can grab. It's still everybody alive on both teams.
Oh, that charm from Insanity landed onto Santorin, and it was followed up by a Q3 from Hauntzer, getting the jungler very low, but he's healing off the Raptors right now, using the Maokai passive, and Dignitas with that Ocean Soul sustain, they're the ones that are going to be able to push back out. They're the ones that will have prime position.
This is the ideal setup for Dignitas. The fact that no one drops, you're able to chunk each other low, but then you have the soul on your side, plus the fact that you're a poke composition, so they can keep them at half HP on TSM side. They can just keep pelting them until this dragon spawns.
Yep, it's the Baron and Elder spawning at similar times, but Dignitas wrapped around and waiting for TSM to come into it, but look,
Insanity.
Chime already popped off. Jensen following up upon Rich's play, and now Dignitas, they're looking at the Elder, but so is TSM. WildTurtle taking some poke, follows up with a killer instinct into the backline. Tomo goes into stasis, and is WildTurtle taking down Poome to eliminate it for Dignitas, but it's the double kill for Turtle. The damage still followed up. Bugi will come out of stasis himself, but WildTurtle collapsed upon by Santorin wants to follow up onto the kill, but a separation to the tri-brush means that Rich and Jensen are here to collapse upon Turtle and Bugi, who weren't able to finish up Santorin until the very end, but they do eventually find him. Lots of lives lost on both sides and no Elder taken.
Not able to chase there, but the fact that, hold on, They get their teleports off. There are super creeps pushing in the mid lane. So TSM, despite the fact that they want to burn this dragon down with Turtle and Bugi, means that if they don't get this, they're in deep trouble.
Yeah, and the Jayce also has teleport. Jensen could arrive. Rich is already here. They're burning it down, though. Bugi's got his smite.
There's a teleport coming in from Dignitas. Rich centering himself into the pit, goes on to WildTurtle, manages to get out, sidesteps the Void Seekers, but Jensen coming in with a shot blast. Where's it gonna go? It's Bugi securing the Elder Dragon, and Chime here for the follow-up. The execute is good, the GA being popped, and can Jensen make something come of it with Rich by his side? But there's the kill, Bugi finishing him off, and Chime looking to set up Jensen to be knocked down by Bugi. No flash to be able to escape. And it's TSM coming out with more, but an exposed base all the while. Look at that, Nexus on its own. Very close call.
Oh, they got it. Bugi got the Elder, and with the power of the Elder, they can try and get their 4th Baron of the game. TSM, they don't have WildTurtle, but they've got everybody else, and Dignitas with no solo laners.
This looks like such a mistake. If they just TP someone in the mid, I'm pretty sure they can end the game with Rich just being an annoying LeBlanc, stopping them from getting recalls off. It was only Chime.
Yeah.
They didn't know where Chime was, but realistically, Jensen might have been able to end the game while they have this do-si-do going on, because it was like 10-15 seconds left on the Ahri and Ksante. On the tail end of this, because they have the soul, they're able to actually have the damage to execute these 2 solo lanes. And then, because the solo lanes are dead, they're able to get the Baron. TSM and Bugi in particular come out huge in this, grabbing both of the neutral objectives.
Oh, you can see it on the faces. I love it's
Both
still
coaches,
stress
man.
for both teams, though.
Yes.
It's still ultimately stressful. TSM still have Elder for another minute's time, over 2.5 minutes on this Baron buff, and they're bringing it in full force across mid lane. Hauntzer, teleport ready. He will clear out that bot lane, but Dignitas sending Rich up through the jungle. Unknown to TSM, but Dignitas holding off on this push in mid.
Look at this. Look at the LeBlanc. Look at the LeBlanc.
Rich.
LeBlanc.
The thing is, they do have teleports, so as long as there's a creep, but there's no ward in their base.
Secret Agent Rich.
They have no way to actually stop him quickly without a Baron recall. So Rich being very annoying, grabbing that inhibitor again.
All right, well, they spotted him with the Scryers. Can he get out? It's going to be a long run.
Doesn't get the vision.
Oh,
with the
they see that.
Oh, there it is.
Insanity
Right
ulted.
into the
Insanity
top
ult
rush.
charge.
Looking for it. Rich doing a little sidestep and do-si-do, but cannot stand up against Insanity, who puts another kill into his pocket.
That's a 57-second death timer here. Now, I want to see what TSM can do with this, because not only did they get the kill, but they've got the Baron buff. If they push on the supers that are coming through mid, they should be able to make Dignitas pay.
See what kind of payday TSM can run into, as now you can see Chime coming through the jungle to reposition with the rest of the squad. Insanity walking it down mid. There's the mid and turret falling, and the inhibitor soon to follow, as Dignitas still have over 20 seconds until Rich respawns. Plenty of ultimates to try to delay this, but that's a Baron-empowered wave that has now entered their base. Still some supers to eventually spawn as a result, but now Santorin look for the sidestep, gets a root onto Hauntzer, and that's a good burst onto Bugi, who's now taken out of it into the backline. Hauntzer goes, a GA popped in favor of Dignitas, but TSM are going deep. They lose 2 for 2 so far. Rich has finally spawned back into it, but Poome and Rich are so low and have to go back into the fountain just to be able to heal up. That's one of the Nexus turrets that TSM were able to take out.
This is crazy!
Oh.
They're not even done! Rich here with the Ocean Soul, poke LeBlanc, harassing them!
Nice and healthy, Hauntzer and Chime, not so much, but Rich, see if he can get some chains onto someone.
Keep going, keep going! Get Insanity's
Timers
flash
are
at least!
long.
Time over the wall, oh my goodness. This game is insane, they're teleporting back topside. They want to get the inhibitor at least.
TSM continuing to commit 2 teleports up top, and Rich and Poome are still waiting at least 15 seconds for some sort of assistance.
Oh, the charm!
Charm onto Rich, but he dashes on back. Insanity gets the damage down. Poome swag walks it out the best he can with head held high as TSM tie up the series. We're going to game 5.
Oh my goodness.
A 45-minute barn burner of a game, ending with a 12-1-9 Insanity. Him and Bugi comboing together to make tons of plays this game in what is the wildest game I can remember this year.
We finally answer the question.